Welcome to another show of Russ On Flowers. I'm your host, Russ. We're back at JJC with Professor T, our new addition. Today we're going to be talking about corsage work and boutonniere work.
This is a real simple one, Russ. What we did is we took 3 coordinating mini carnations that matched our little corsage. I have a small, kind of a medium, kind of a large, and I'm going to do the same thing. Start with my small, stair step, the next one over, and then my third one will be placed at that binding point that we were talking about earlier. So it's kind of a 3-step,
right?
Little tiered little design here. And while I'm hanging on to it, I'm going to add a couple pieces of Italian ruscus to the base. Ooh, that's a nasty piece. Okay. Want perfect on, because they're viewed up close. You want to make sure you're always using perfect foliage, perfect flowers, nothing with bruises. We'll tape this on real quick. A little bit of baby's breath down at the bottom. See, some people, when they make these, they make a mistake. They put big blobs of baby's breath, and it looks terrible on there. Big blobs of it. It should just be, it's an accent flower. It's in the group of flowers known as accent flowers. Little, small, tiny little sprigs. Little.
Right on. So you don't have to wire the Italian ruscus.
I never wire the foliage. I never wire baby's breath or any accent materials that go in there. And we're going to do the same treatment.
Extremely time-consuming.
Take off the stem, the extra little stem. You know, he has to match, coordinate, so we're going to add some bling, and this time I'm going to leave the wire on, and I'm just going to add a couple of these cute little rhinestones. We have a
So we glued the other ones, but we don't need to glue these, right?
Nah,
Not when you're doing boot work. Just wire it in.
Wire them in.
Tape them.
Tape it.
Binding point.
We need our artificial foliage. And then we're going to finish off, we're going to backdrop this with our silk ivy leaves. And on the tiny boutonnieres, I use 3. Again, around that binding point.
What are some other leaves you put on there? You love the silk leaves.
I love the silk leaves. I love
Because
them as a
to
finishing.
work with,
yeah, and they hide my mechanics, and they also prevent the foliage or the flowers from staining anybody's clothing, which they could get angry if you mess up their dance outfit. So I'm going to cut this off, and then whenever I cut off a stem, I want to make sure I retape over that cut end so that it's, again, not snagging anybody's outfit. Very simple to make, quick to make, and appropriate for weddings or for dances or for the do-it-yourselfer. Relatively easy to put together.
We had some great work done. Now we're moving on to the favorite part of our show, flowers that look like people. So I'm going to hand this off to you, Professor T.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful yellow pansy looking flower.
Cheese.
The lovely
pansy,
mustache.
Cheese. You know I had to do that to you, brother. So moving on to our Q&A. In France, what flower is associated with death? Deborah from Oregon.
No idea.
Chrysanthemums. So
that's good.
Great. Russ, how to preserve a corsage? It's Thomas in Minnesota. Preserve, long-term preserve or short-term preserve? What do we? I mean, short-term it's refrigeration, right? I mean, we just keep it in the refrigeration. Or if they're talking about
preserve is freeze-dried, and that's a really, not a lot of people own freeze-dried machines, but they would have to take this corsage apart. These flowers could be freeze-dried, saved forever, and they would look identical. The problem is, by the end of the night, they are so well worn and wilted. I don't know if that's always the best choice. You can take it apart, you can let it air dry, but not all flowers hold their color, not all flowers dry well. So really, just buy a new one next time. Buy a new one.
Russ, what does the purple rose symbolize? Jennifer from Colorado.
I have no idea.
Enchantment. We get a lot of questions like that all the time. What different flowers mean, colors mean. It's crazy. Russ, what is the official state flower of Kentucky? Susan in Texas again. It's goldenrod. So that's kind of typical of some of the emails that we get. Anyway.
Interesting.
So summarize our show. Corsages, boutonniere work. Did a lot of stuff with mini carnations, daisies, some bling bling. We got some million star chip. Stay tuned for other episodes and other shows coming with Professor T. We're going to be out here more often. Thanks for coming to the show. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.